I've been watching discussions on abortions on the internet, and it's a heated topic. It seems like most of the time when you come across it, people are talking about it in a very emotional way. People kind of sometimes kind of lose their shit a little bit around the topic of abortion, and it makes it actually very difficult to have a straightforward conversation about it. So I think that that's what I'd like to do here, is just to start talking about it, because it's something that, being an ideal world that we live in, some women are faced with making that choice. And I cannot imagine how difficult a choice it must be. I have imagined it actually, but to live through it, I think, might be on a different level. Whenever I imagine myself having to make that choice, it is a very difficult choice to make, and almost, I want to say, life-changing. It has that potential to change a person. But let me skip over that part for now, because there's a heck of a lot involved in this topic. So bottom line is, it's going to be a freaking hard choice for any person to make. And sometimes, when you're looking at a situation where like a child was raped and they end up being pregnant and they don't even understand what's going on, it's kind of, seems like the only logical choice available. And obviously there's going to be a few other situations, but I'm not going to go into detail there. What I want to do is opening up the discussion of, how do we talk about a difficult topic? How do we talk about a topic where a lot of people have very, very strong opinions? And what I find when I try and approach someone and talk about something that they feel very strongly about, if I approach them in a way where I'm just kind of chucking my opinions at them, they just immediately put the wall up and say, no, you're wrong because of this and this and this and this. And this is very much what happens on this topic. People feel strongly enough about it that if you approach it in almost always, they're going to become defensive and react. So what I've been practicing is to approach difficult subjects in a way where, there's no judgment. I'm not bringing any judgment. I'm not judging this person for whatever opinion they have. Because the moment that I judge someone, they will react to that, and then conversation goes out the window. That no judgment includes me chucking my opinions at someone, because that in a way is like you're starting a war of flinging shit at each other. So it comes down to balancing, all right, how do I come from a point of sharing what I see without bringing judgment, without bringing any opinions into it, and asking questions. It's not always easy to do. I find that it's quite easy to slip into reacting to someone, especially when their views are very, very different to mine. So yeah, a lot of breathing is involved, a lot of slowing down, and sometimes rather walk away and try again a different day. So That happens. And I find also that when I'm talking about a topic where I have a different view to someone, and I have this little kind of secret judgment in the back of my mind about them and this view that they're holding, I take a very interesting stance. I feel superior and powerful and like all-knowing within myself, because, oh shame, this person doesn't see things the way that I see things. I'm so much better than they are. Let me show them the light, which obviously never turns out well. And I don't like it. I don't like feeling that way. I don't like approaching a situation in that way. So that's something that I have to be careful of. So within taking all of that into consideration, how do you talk about something like abortion with someone who is very pro or very against? And maybe you're in the middle. Because a lot of the time, I'm going to take it from my experience, and a lot of the time on most topics, I'm kind of in the middle. I see the points on both sides. So I see both points for people who are for abortion and people who are against abortion. And very often the differences between them is the values that they hold. And those values can be rooted in religion, it can be rooted in self-definition, it can be rooted in very strong opinions and judgments, and various other things. So that's, I think, maybe the first important thing to remember is that regardless of what the topic is, and regardless of who you're dealing with, if someone is very holding a very strong position one way or another on a particular topic, it very well may be close to impossible to have a calm discussion about a point. If you catch them on the right day when they're in the right mood and they've just watched a video or something that's primed them to being open to having a conversation, then maybe you could kind of have a bit of a conversation, but maybe not. Maybe the moment you start trying to talk about it, regardless of how gently you approach it and how calm and centered you are within yourself, maybe they blow up anyway. And there's nothing you can do about that. Don't take it personally. It's not about you. We all have to face our own challenges and at different times of our lives. So someone who may be unable to talk about a topic like that now, maybe they go through some things in their life in the next few years and they change their perspective a little bit. Maybe your conversation with them will be part of those experiences that help change their perspective and help move them from such an extreme position. And at the end of the day, that's essentially what we're dealing with, is extremity and extremities of belief. And this can be seen in any area of life where we hold the view that what I believe is right and there is no other way. There is no other right. There's only right and wrong. What I believe is right and everything else is wrong. That's a very difficult position to move from, but it can be done. And I've put a lot of time and energy into practicing breathing and slowing down and being open to considering something outside of how I see it. Not everyone has done that. So patience is a good thing to have, and the ability to not take things personally is a good thing to have. And that's not an ability, it's more of a skill that you practice over time. And at the end of the day, something like abortion, I don't think is something that's right or wrong. It's something that maybe is more manifested than it needs to be, because we don't live in an ideal world, because sometimes people have to make a difficult choice, not because of their personal preferences, but because of their life circumstances, where maybe they're not in a position to care for a child, or they were raped or something like that. And I think that if we were in an ideal world, something like abortion would be far, far less common than it is today. And fewer women would have to be, I mean, for lack of a better word, have to be scarred by having to make that choice. But at the very least, what we can do here and now is not judge each other for making difficult choices, and for making choices that maybe we don't agree with. No one knows what is in anyone else's head. Sometimes, through conversation or writing or reading, we can help ourselves and help each other. Sometimes not. So, at the very least, don't judge someone for making a choice, whether they end up regretting it or not. Maybe one day, none of us will have to make difficult choices like that. And that's what I would like to focus on, creating a world where difficult choices are far more frivolous than they are now. All right. Thank you for watching, and you're going to see me next time.